Hey there, friends. Welcome back to As Man Thinketh on Yanasa TV. So the state of North Carolina has decided that they're going to get into the business of telling people what they can and cannot put into their bodies. I think this is one of the most dangerous directions a government could go when it comes to protecting our democracy, protecting our freedoms as individuals. A state government, or any government for that matter, should never pass a law telling people what they can or cannot put into their bodies. I'm referring to State Bill 639, which is the new farm bill. It has passed the House of the state of North Carolina. I don't know if it was going to pass the Senate or not. It passed the House about 5 days ago. It was the second run at their farm bill. And, you know, for the most part, I didn't see anything in there that would be bothersome. But when I got to the section on raw milk, there was something that stood out to me, and I'm going to share with you a couple different perspectives on this and why I find it concerning. They want to revise Section 20A, which is the dispensing of raw milk and raw milk products for personal use and consumption. And I think it's important to remember that what this is talking about is personal use and consumption, not for sale. And this is where this bill, I think, has a lot of people turned upside down, a lot of people angry, and they should be, because this is completely unconstitutional. It is against our rights as human beings. Many of you have noticed that we keep wearing these leather patch hats that say "Defend the Right to Farm" on them. These leather patch hats support our nonprofit, Meet My Neighbor Productions. You can get your hat at Yanasa Trading Co. and help us defend the right to farm through education, outreach, and, as we've been doing over the last couple of years, farm relief efforts. So get your leather patch hat and let others know that you defend the right to farm. So first, under labeling, they removed where it said this labeling requirement does not apply to raw milk or raw milk products dispensed for personal use or consumption to the independent or partial owner of a cow, goat, or other lactating animal. Normally, when you dispense raw milk for sale for pet purposes, it has to be labeled with "not for human consumption." What they're saying, in the past, if you were going to use it for yourself and put it in your own refrigerator, you didn't have to put that label on there because it was for yourself. Now they've taken that label requirement and basically removed it and said that you've got to put that label on it if it's in your refrigerator. If we go down to C, the term "sale or sold" does not include the transfer or dispensing of raw milk or raw milk products to, or the right to acquire raw milk or raw milk products by, the independent or partial owner of a cow, goat, or other lactating animal. And they want to change that to compensation including the sale of shares or interest in a cow, goat, or other lactating animal or herd. So what they're saying in Section C is that even if you have ownership in an animal, you could be the sole owner, you could be one of 2 or 3 owners. How many families out there have multiple ownership in a milking cow or a milking herd? It doesn't matter to them. The state is simply saying that you don't have the right to obtain its raw milk for human consumption. Even if you own the cow, even if you own the lactating animal, you do not have rights to the things that come off of that animal. Under subsection D, it used to say, "Nothing in this section shall prohibit the dispensing of raw milk or raw milk products for personal use or consumption to, or the acquisition of raw milk or raw milk products for personal use or consumption by an independent or partial owner of a cow, goat, or other lactating animal." Again, they're taking away the independent owner's rights to the milk of their animal. This doesn't have anything to do with consumers. What this has to do with, because consumers you can't sell raw milk to in the state of North Carolina. You can sell raw milk to them for their pets. Somebody told me, "Don't you wish you could eat the way your pets do?" It's a good slogan for those pet milk guys out there. But no, you could sell raw milk for pets. You could sell raw milk for, well, that's really about it in the state of North Carolina. But now they're saying that even if you own the animal, You cannot dispense raw milk for consumption. You cannot consume the milk of your own animal. And I realize that part of this may be to try and get around the herd share situation, where you've had a lot of people, like 20, 30 people, buy in shares of a raw milk herd, and they just get raw milk products from it. But even then, that is a private transaction between individuals. It has nothing to do with public. It has nothing to do with consumerism, going to the grocery store, being uninformed. It has everything to do with an informed buyer buying a product or buying a share in an animal. I have serious concerns over the whole herd share thing, just because of the fact that these are informed consumers making private deals, private contracts with a farmer to own part of the animal, to be able to take the benefits of that animal at their own will. But then when you get into just the individual, you know, it makes it very clear the individual, they've removed any protections of the individual who owns an animal, an independent animal. You know, if I had a dairy cow on my property, what they're saying is that I cannot milk my dairy cow and keep my dairy for my own consumption. You guys see the problem with that? They have absolutely no constitutional right to tell me that I can't. Now, they probably won't go out and say, no, you can't milk your cow and consume that milk. But let's just say something goes awry, okay? And you've given that raw milk to your kids or other family members who knowingly drank the raw milk. A lot of people grew up off of raw milk. You know, when you get into my parents' age, and I mean, for years, raw milk was just a normal thing, okay? But let's say something goes wrong. You remember how all those kids got lead poisoning from eating applesauce because there was too much lead in the cinnamon? That was last year, right? Okay, nothing happened to that company because it didn't break the law. I mean, the FDA allows you to put lead in seasonings. It's perfectly normal to put lead in our food. You would be surprised at the chemicals and junk that's in the food on the grocery store shelves. It's appalling. You know, I just can't walk in there and eat anymore. None of it's real food. But now you flip that same scenario around. Let's just say something goes wrong and somebody in your household gets sick from drinking raw milk. Well, now it's a crime. You are now a criminal for giving your child raw milk, or for giving your husband raw milk, or for giving your wife raw milk. They will charge you with a crime because you have broken the law by consuming raw milk as an independent owner of that animal. These were rights that were protected previously in the general statutes of North Carolina for a reason. By taking those rights away, you know, like I've read a lot of people who have said, well, they're just, you know, clarifying that, you know, the herd shares are illegal and this, that, and the other thing. But no, they're actually taking away where it says that you have the right to consume raw milk. And the only reason why they would do that is to pave the groundwork to go after you if you consume raw milk. It's the most ridiculous thing if you think about it. Why can't we choose what we put into our bodies? Why can't we choose what we consume? There are a lot of people who, you know, claim that there are significant benefits behind raw milk, and some people claim that they need it for their diet. What's going to happen to those people? I guess they're going to have to move out of the state of North Carolina. Folks, if you live in the state of North Carolina, I would look over this bill, and anybody who signed it, take them off your ballot next time you vote. Just pretend they're not there. Because the second we have politicians telling us what we can or cannot put into our bodies is the day that we lose our independence and our freedom. That is just the most basic of them all. I mean, it doesn't get any more basic than that. Now, I recognize that drugs are a different deal, right? I recognize that there are people out there who do things that then cause harm to others. But drinking raw milk has not proven scientifically to cause harm to anybody else. I warned in a video a little over a year ago that they would start using the bird flu as an excuse to say that drinking raw milk could harm others and therefore make it illegal. It's industry protectionism is all it is. I happen to know that in the state of North Carolina, one of the largest farmers for Organic Valley has plans on leaving Organic Valley and selling raw pet milk. Now, this bill does not outlaw selling raw pet milk, But a lot of the people who buy raw pet milk are people who are then consuming it themselves, even though it says not for human consumption. So by coming down harder and basically saying, no, you cannot consume that, even by choice. There's no law out there that says I can't consume a dog biscuit. There's no law out there that says do not eat my dog's food. But there is a law out there that says don't eat the raw milk. And these companies will do whatever they can to shut down their competition. Even if it means impacting the small farmers, the homesteaders, the people who are trying to do things on their own without having to depend on the 5 or 6 corporations that fill our grocery stores and poison us every day. Anyway, guys, that's all I have for you today on As a Man Thinketh. Stay tuned, I'll have more videos out this week.
Ancient eras and natural selection have refined and tailored pristine fibers with the resilience for today's days. Evolving beyond the last ice age, bison wool is nature's most dependable activewear. Buffalo Wool Company, 100% proven by nature, 100% American made.
Check out the Buffalo Wool Company collection at yanasatradingco.com.